Hello students, my dear students, my name is Tashin Amgil. So here we have like chapter number 10. The name of the chapter is Practical Geometry, and this is your one of the chapter for second term, and that is why it is very important for you that you should study this chapter if you want to get pass in your coming exam. This chapter is very important, because this is one of the chapter for second term. So here, what we have here is a practical geometry. So when we are talking about practical geometry, we will do the textual exercises and all that. And when we do this, you will understand it better. But here, before you go for the textual exercise and all that, you have to know some of the, different things what we use for, before knowing practical geometry lesson. So here I have combined here the lines and angles, one of the chapter in your textbook, along with practical geometry, because this is important. When you have these lines and angle and then the practical geometry, which is combinedly used in practical geometry here. So here what happens? See, there are two lines, L and M. These are two parallel lines. So parallel line means, what is a parallel line? Now, if I have one chalk piece in my left hand side and another chalk piece in my right hand side. This is a blue chalk piece, and that is another color. So, for example, now I have a pink chalk piece. So, with this pink and blue chalk piece, I write a line like this. I draw a line like this, and then I go from here. This is our classroom. From the classroom, I go to the airport, and then I go to, Nimmu, and then I go to Srinagar, then I go to, I go all over the world like this. And then I come back, maybe after, 5 years, 10 years, or whatever it is. So, for example, if I do this, if I keep on drawing this line, I go all over the world and come back to this classroom again with these two lines. These two lines never meet each other. It doesn't intersect. There is no intersection. There is no meeting point for these two lines. That is why they are called parallel lines. So I think you might have understood about what are parallel lines. Those are parallel lines. So before knowing parallel lines, you have to know what is a line. So you have to know before knowing what is a line, you have to know what is a point. So these are all, I already explained you, but in short I tell you, a point is a shapeless geometrical figure. A point is a shapeless geometrical figure. So when this group of point extends in a systematical order in one direction, that is called a line. So a line consists of many points like this. So then only you see there is one point here, there's one point here, there's one point here. So when you combine all these points, by point, then you get a line. So this line it extends in one direction. So that is called an arrow. So when a line extends in one direction, that is called an arrow. So for example, this is A and this is B. When a line extends, when this segment, this is a segment, A to B is a segment is a part of a line. So when this segment extends beyond A and beyond B, then that is called a line. Yeah. So here, when we are talking about line, it extends beyond A and it extends beyond B. It can go all around the world and come back to this class again. We can extend it whole around the world, and then you end it it doesn't end in the class again. It goes again somewhere. So line is, never ending in two different directions. So when we are talking about line, so I think you have some idea about what exactly a line is. Now when you are talking about parallel lines, these are parallel lines. Okay? So here we have two different things. One is two lines can be parallel, and two lines, they are unparallel also. They are not parallel. So when they are not parallel, they will meet. This is one line, this is another line. Both of them intersect each other at one point. For example, this is O here. I don't put the name for this line. I just show you what exactly are the lines. These are lines, this is another line. Then there is O here. For example, now when I put A, B, and then you put CD. So these two lines, A, B, and CD, intersect each other at point O. So this is when we are talking about unparallel lines, or when we are talking about lines which are not parallel to each other. So now in this chapter we will know about lines which are not parallel and lines which are parallel. Now we are trying to understand parallel lines only. So here it says like, if two lines are cut by a transversal. Transversal, what is a transversal? A transversal is a line which cuts one or another, one or two or three lines is called a transversal line. So here, for example, this T is a transversal line because it cuts L and M. But L also cuts T, and M also cuts T. So they cut each other. That is why we call intersect. So here, you have a rough idea about if two lines are cut by a transversal, each pair of corresponding angles are equal. So corresponding angles are equal in that case. So you have to know what is a corresponding angle. You have to know what is a corresponding angle. Yeah? So here it says like in the above figure we have vertically opposite angles. What are vertically opposite angles? First we have to know what are our vertically opposite angles. Like this and like this. X shape stands for vertically opposite angles. When you have an X shape, stands for vertically opposite angle. Or in other words, you can say two V's. Two V's, the corner of two V's. This is one V which is made to stand on another V. So two V corner here, with this corner and this corner, V corner. And then this is again the another corner of this X. So two pairs, one pair of corner and two pair of corners, no? Then these corners are called vertically opposite angles, which are shown X here, X shape. So this and this is vertically opposite angle, and this is the vertical opposite angle. It stands for vertically opposite angles. Now, for example, if you look at this figure, in the above figure, we have what do we have here? We have angle 1 is equal to angle 3 here. So what is here now? 1 is equal to 3. Because they are vertically opposite angle. Yes. So then you have like angle 2 is equal to angle 4. Because they are again vertically opposite angle. Because that is like, again like X, corner of this X. There are two corners in this X, no? So these two corners which are opposite to each other, they are co-vertically opposite angle. Then you have 5 and 7, 6 and 8. So once I explain you one pair or second pair, then I think it will be easy for you to understand these things. Now the second one, corresponding angles. So when you are talking about corresponding angles, the F shape stands for corresponding angles. F shape, this kind of F shape, it stands for corresponding angles. So F, corner of F again, this F, this F. This is an F, but this is the image of F. What is an image of F? For example, if you place a mirror here and then you see what it looks like, in the mirror you will see that this is F. So image of F this is. So this is like, upside down F again, so whatever it is. So these corners, all these corners, whatever it is shown, that pair of angles, those pairs of angles are, what is it? Corresponding angles. This and this is a corresponding angle, this and this is a corresponding angle, this and this and this. Okay? So when you look into this figure again, you have angle 1 is equal to angle 5. Why? Because that is in the F shape, and then that has, that they are corresponding angle. That is why they are equal to each other. Yeah? So pairs of corresponding angle. Angle 1 and angle 5. Okay? So again you have this angle 2 and angle 6. Here angle 2 and angle 6. That is again the corner of F. Yeah? This kind of F. This F here. Angle 2 and angle 6 is exactly like this X. This F. So these angles are equal to each other. And then you have angle 3 and angle 7 equal to each other again. 3 and 7. This is proper F. The corner of proper F, 3 and 7. Huh? So these two corners are again equal to each other. That is called corresponding angle. Now when you have alternate interior angle, then again here it has like, the Z shape. That has the Z shape, stands for alternative angles, alternative interior angles. Z shape stands for alternative interior angles. This is Z, and this is image of Z. When you place a mirror here, you will see in the mirror that there is a proper Z in the mirror. So whatever it is, image of Z or inward, upside down, you place a Z here, or whatever, is in the Z form. That corners of this Z will represent what is it called, the alternate interior angles. So angle 3 and angle 5. So remember, there are alternate interior angles. Why do you call interior angle? Because this is in between L and M. That is why it is called interior. Okay? So alternate interior angle is that angle which is between L and M, but they form a Z kind of shape. So this is angle 3 and angle 4. So for example, angle 3 and angle 3 here, angle 3 and angle 5 here. Okay? So this is again Z type, no? So corner of Z is, one corner of Z is 5 and one corner of Z is 3. So these two are equal to each other. Here. Okay? No, when you are talking about here, this one here angle 3 and angle 5. So now when we are talking about angle 4 and angle 6 again, angle 4 again here, angle 6 is where is the angle 6 here? This is again Z, you see. The two corners of F, 4 and 6. There are two corners of F. So next one is when we have like angle, this is all, there is only two pairs of alternate interior angles. Then we move on to the third one, interior angles on the same side of transversal. Now, when you are talking about interior angle, we talk about two things here. One is, interior angle in case of alternate angle, and interior angle in case of angles on the same side of the transversal. So angles on the same side of transversal, there are many angles. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All these are angles on the different side of transversal. But on the same side of transversal, you have like 2, 3, 6, and 7. On the other side, to the left hand side of transversal is angle 1, angle 4, angle 5, angle 8. Now when you are talking about interior angle on the same side, that means between L and M. Between L and M. So in between L and M, this is a wall here. This is a wall here. A wall, this is another wall, this is another wall. You have a compound here. And then the corner of those fencing, 3 and 6. This is interior angle on the same side of transversal, on the right hand side of transversal. Now when you are talking about left hand side of transversal, but again interior, so that means 4 and angle 5. These are in the interior of this interior angle, but also on the left hand side of transversal. So when you are talking about these angles, the sum of these angles is equal to 90 degree. So this is the effect which we explained here. interior angle. Okay, so U shape stands for interior angles on the same side of transversal. When you have a U shape, then it is always interior angle on the same side of transversal. So this is the transversal, and these are two parallel lines. This is the transversal, these are two parallel lines. This is a transversal, these are two parallel lines. This is a two parallel lines, this is a transversal. So these corners, which is formed between the transversal and the two parallel lines, in the interior of this figure is called, on the same side of transversal, is called interior angle on the same side of transversal. So now when you have the fact here is, the sum of the interior angle on the same side of transversal is, 180 degree. So for example, if you have 3 and 4, angle 3 and angle 4, angle 3 and angle 6, so their total is 180 degree. And then you have angle 4 and angle 5, their total is 180 degree. So this is what I explained you about what happens when two parallel lines are intersected by a third line called transversal. Now, when we are talking about different aspects, we talk about two things. One is axiom and the other is theorem. So axiom is a fact in the geometry where you can not explain its existence, or you cannot prove that. You cannot prove that is there, It is the reality, but you cannot prove. For example, if somebody tells you, where is your tummy? The tummy business, no? Where is your tummy? Where is your stomach? You cannot show them your stomach, no? Where is your heart? Can you show me your heart? No, you can't show. That is called axiom. It doesn't mean that you don't have a heart. You have a heart, but you can't show. So that, and then you have theorem. Theorem means you have to show. Where is your ear? This is my ear. Where are your ears? These are my ears. Where is your nose? This is my nose. You can show that, no? You can prove that there is something called nose here. People can see that, feel it. So, in geometry, when you prove something, that is called theorem. So, this is also a theorem here. This is also a theorem here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, all these has one theorem each. It is a very big the scope of this is very big. When you enlarge this one, see for example, if two lines are cut by a transversal, each pair of corresponding angles are equal in measure. Now you can do the same thing here. If two lines are cut by a transversal, each pair of vertically opposite angles are equal in measure. Again, you can say same thing. When two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, each pair of corresponding angles are equal. Again, you can say here, if two lines are cut by a transversal, alternate interior angles are equal in measure. Again, here you can say the same thing again, but in a different way. Here you have to explain in a different way after some time. Some part you take it from here. If two lines are cut by a transversal, here you have to say like this. If two lines are cut by a transversal, the sum of the interior angle on the same side of transversal is supplementary. So this is another theorem here. So we have explained everything here. Now out of this we will use alternate interior angle in your practical geometry. Only this is useful to you. Alternate interior angle. 1, 2, 3, that is not useful to you when you are studying this practical geometry. But I somehow thought that, this is okay, because, then you can understand something about what is it called, lines and angles, which is one chapter there in your textbook. So that is why I explained you all different things, whatever it comes. Now you have introduction of practical geometry here. We learn to draw a segment. So in 6th standard, we taught how to draw a segment. And then we have what is a segment? Segment is like this, no? Segment. This is segment. How to draw? That is with the help of the tools, with the what is it called? The different measurements which has to be made with the help of, compasses or scale and all that. That you did in while you were studying in 6th class. There you studied this, and then you have, when you talk about angle, so you have, this is angle. Okay, so for example, this is A, B, and C. What is this angle? How to measure this? That is also explained in your 6th standard. And then, angular bisector. Angular bisector means when you have this angle, then you have a bisector here. This is half, this is half. Okay, so that is also explained in your while you were in class 6. Okay, this is angular bisector. This is equal to that. Then you have circle. How to draw a circle? That is explained in the, again, you came to know how to draw a circle while you are in 6th standard. Now, here it is explained like this. Yeah, we try to draw a line segment and angle by the perpendicular. Perpendicular means like this, see, 90 degree. All these things, A, B, C, whatever it is, or you can say A here, B here, and C here. Yeah. So this is all what we explained you while you were in class 6. Now you will learn how to draw parallel lines and some types of triangles. So here in this chapter, practical geometry, we will learn about how to draw parallel lines, and then how to draw some different some types of triangles. There are many triangles, but we have to know how to draw these triangles. So this will be our lesson for the next few days. When you do the textual exercises and all that, we will learn it. So today I mostly, whenever I give you a sort of explanation like this through the medium of chart and all that, I always try to explain you in English, because that is very important for you in future. This will help you to read, write, and sort of speak in English. And that is why my lesson is always like this. When you give a something some lesson about the chapter itself, I always try to explain you in English. And then when you do the textual exercise and all that, I will teach you all in Hindi, which is more practical for you to understand. So my dear students, so today I think this is all about this chapter. I think you might have learned a bit from this different aspect of my lesson, and see you in the next lesson when we do the textual exercise and all that. Thank you very much. And if you have any doubts in your mind, kindly do tell me by WhatsApp, or you could also try to phone me, and my numbers are given below here. WhatsApp number, as well as the for calling by phone also. The number is here. So thank you very much. See you again.